Hi guys, welcome to Slash 2. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Charlie.
And this week we're talking about advertisement and PR in the video games industry and what a shit show it is.
Yeah, it's terrible. Things are terrible.
If only you knew how bad it really was.
Minor update, purely because this is the last video that's going to go up before the convention next week.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone coming to Birmingham MCM Expo, we will be going around in t-shirts with the Slash 2 logo on the front. There's a little QR code on the back that at the minute just reroutes around to YouTube. We may or may not have a landing page before.
Yeah, bring us pictures of your cats and we'll sign them. And give us food because we're poor.
But seriously, feel free to come over and say hello. I know there's very few people who are probably listening to this, and even few that are listening to this and going to the convention. But
see, right now, we are a tiny flame. Tiny flame on YouTube. And we're just waiting for YouTube to present its puckered anus and allow us to light the fart, which is the shit show of the front page. Though we may never see it, we dream of that smelly future.
Jesus Christ, you can tell he's had a drink tonight.
One drink.
One drink.
One
This
drink.
is what happens. But yeah, like I say, feel free to come up. I mean, if you're listening to this because you have seen us at the con and you have scanned our little QR codes, hi.
Oh yeah, hello.
Hi, this is weird. Welcome to the shit show.
Welcome to the past, where the future is bright and smelly.
Jesus Christ.
Come on, I'm rolling with this now.
Oh, this is going to be a running joke for the rest of the week, isn't it now? So, Kyle, I mean, this is probably going to be you having a rant more than anything else this whole episode. Where do you want to kick off?
This is the first time I've started a fucking recording with a laptop and a document in front of me, so
I always have the computer up with the script up, you just don't look at it.
I have special eyes. Anyway, recently we've seen quite a few games essentially do a handstand and a shit on themselves over publicity. So let's start off with my favourite, which is really delicious, and we've spoke about it many, many times. The Epic Store, Metro Exodus, and THQ Nordic. Fuck me, this just gets better and better.
You have no idea how salty he is over this whole Epic Store debacle.
Oh no, I'm not salty. I'm infatuated with it. Because it just keeps going. It's like toilet time after a spicy meal. So, reading off my script, which I proudly wrote, there's been more to it. So, recently they've been mentioned about THQ Nordic doing an AMA on Infinity Chan.
Never a good idea.
Anything with Chan in the name and publicity tend to go hand in hand with things like school shootings and Fox News exploding a van completely out of context in an article from 8 years ago. Or Habbo Hotel if you're that way inclined. But anyway, they did it on this website. This website is known for its extreme right-wing views even, not white-wing.
Well, you may as well call it white-wing because it's all white, pro-white, isn't it?
Unfortunately so.
White supremacists.
Shit-posting, Nazism, praise Keck, all that bollocks. Basically, you do not want this website to have your name on it.
You don't want to be associated with something like that.
Yeah. It's a shit stain on a perfectly nice white wall. So, they did that, and then apologised for it.
Of course.
But it just gets better and better, because the Epic Store has virtually no account security, which is more bad publicity, and a very based anon gave us some information, not to me directly, but to a forum that we were browsing, essentially saying that he tracked some of the connections and outgoing routing of information from the Epic Store client. Essentially, it goes through some sketchy rogue server in China. So, I'll leave that with what you want to make of it. Essentially, you could be getting doxxed for playing Fortnite, and it's your own fault for playing a crap game.
I've just had a quick look up. So THQ cancelled the AMA, and the statement from the PR and marketing director is just hilarious. I personally agreed to this AMA without doing my proper due diligence to understand the history and controversy of the site. It's got the word Chan in it. That's all the information you need.
Isn't this the one where they apologise and in no way condone...
I do not condone child pornography, white supremacy, or racism in any shape or form. I am terribly sorry for the short-sightedness of my decision, and promise to be far more vigorous in my assessment of these activities in the future. This was not about being edgy, it blew up and I very much regret to have done it in the first place. That's Philip Brock, the PR and marketing director of How
I bet.
dumb do you have to be?
Yeah, right, so this is what I think, right? So with the AMA, I think he had the laptop on the top bit and he was typing away on it, and he was tongue deep in some other exec's arsehole when he agreed to it. That's the only thing. Like, what makes you think that's a good idea? I mean, I can understand if you made it on the Voldemort of the internet and their VG board. Like, totally, that is still a legitimate place to ask these kind of AMAs. I mean, Dead Mouse has been on there. We've had a couple of other like artists and other developers that have been on, and they've been pretty cool about it. But why choose that website? I mean, all you're going to do is get flamed to fuck, and Le Epic Store is Le Cancer. You know, that's all you're going to get out of it. But while we're still on the subject of the Ep Shit Store, so Phoenix Point, this is a really interesting one, and I actually read a few different articles based on this. So Phoenix Point is a game brought on by the ex-developer, or designer should I say, of the XCOM series, which is this award-winning series which spun off many amazing games. Totally recommend playing the Bureau if you prefer an over-the-shoulder shooter, but like the sort of RTS elements to it. A bit like Mass Effect, but in the 1950s. Spot-on game. Anyway, they did this sort of like Kickstarter, GoFundMe, crowdsourced funded thing, and the game was going really well. All the community was giving all the right feedback, and it was shaping up to be a fucking killer title. Like, everybody loved it. And then EA slithered into their DMs like, "Hey boy, you're looking pretty thick. How about a 1-year exclusive deal on that, yeah?" So that happened, and they announced it on the Kickstarter and said, after a year you can have a Steam key. And to sort of sweeten the deal, they said, "Oh, we'll make you some DLC." The fan base fucking kicked back massively.
Everybody left in droves.
Yeah, they
It's
were...
a mass exodus.
Yeah, in the first day, like 1,600 people requested refunds, and they were above the $10 pledge tier. So you're probably looking at...
The bulk.
Yeah, a chunky net loss from it. And then there's been people who've obviously gone with it. I assume these are paid NPCs by Epic, to go, "Hey guys, Epic Store's good. You can still buy from us, it's okay." And, you know, they get angry when people ignore them, because they're robots.
So the problem is, so the Epic Store is doing its marketing all wrong.
Yeah.
It's a competitor for Steam, and it is trying to be that too directly. I think that's the biggest issue with it.
No, right now, the way that the way it's being portrayed to me is they are paying for the audiences. They've shoveled a shitload of money down THQ's throat. They've shoveled a shitload of money at Ubisoft for Division 2, and they're fist fucking every small indie developer they can because they give a slightly smaller cut compared to Steam. But the problem is, I mean, I'm going to sound pro Steam, but Steam offers much more compared to the Epic Store. For starters, it offers 2 form factor security. Mm-hmm. It offers encryption, and account security is a must. Like, Steam accounts worth thousands of pounds. Like, personally, mine's worth an absolute shit ton. And I wouldn't trust that level of value with Epic. These are the people that brought us, you know, the cover shooting Gears of War series and Unreal Tournament. They should have just stuck to it.
That's the thing. Epic seem to think that they are a console, and that exclusives to them equals good, and more people will buy. But the problem is, if you're only wanting one game that's on the Epic Store, mm-hmm. you're not going to bother.
No.
You'll just wait until eventually it gets ported onto something else. Why on earth would you spend all that money for something that, like I say, because the Epic Store is so small still, if they go under, they don't have... You're renting the right to play a game from them. If they go under, they don't have to let you keep playing that game. Nope. And there is no security with Epic Store in terms of that. They are smaller than Steam.
They don't have offline play.
They are a risk for people to play. They need to be pushing more of the indie developers. They need to be nicer to indie developers to make more indie developers come on and bring their following with them. They do not need to go shooting for the big guns straight away, because they're spending all their money doing that and not bringing in the little guys where people are going to start discovering them, actually start seeing them as viable.
And the little guys they are bringing in, they're paying them money, and then they're letting their game go out for free, and the kitties woke up.
Hi, morning, Luna. You gonna come and sit or not?
You're going to come and argue with the adults, yeah? But, yeah, so the Epic Store is... I would avoid it like the plague. It just, to me, looks like a bunch of Chinese malware.
I'd say once it's bigger and it's got a decent base, but the problem is that it's going to just retread a lot of the same ground that Steam does. And in doing that, you're just going to end up with two versions of the same games on both platforms if you're not careful.
Yeah.
There is no point.
The consensus right now is, if there's a game that comes out as an Epic Store exclusive, people are just posting and tweeting and whatever about it, just saying, oh, my favourite game, or the game I was excited for has been delayed 12 months. Oh, well, see you in the Steam sale.
That's the thing. Everyone's more angry about them doing it than they are excited to play the games.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're doing marketing wrong.
Well, as soon as the Epic Store is mentioned, I instantly lose interest. So one of the things that I was really stoked for, because I've had the opportunity at live events to play the Borderlands games before they came out, Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel at different Insomnia events and what have you. So there's been murmurs and whispers and what have you of Borderlands 3, and the guy on Twitter sort of causing a bit of a stir about it last year, about 4th of December last year.
Yeah.
Saying he can't wait to work with the Epic Store, yada yada yada, and doing his whole NPC thing of, oh, I don't see anything wrong with the Epic Store. At the end of the day, it's the same platform and we're just buying from different stores. But that's not how it works. Like, I want all my games in one client.
That was the point of Steam.
Yeah.
Everything in one place.
A one-stop shop for gaming. If there's a problem with cost and with developers, they should be sorting this through Steam themselves. Developers should be standing up to Steam and going, oi mate, where's my fucking cut? Rather than just being like, my Epic Store, I can make loads of money in the short term, and then when it's
completely fucked over in the long term.
Yeah, because the Epic Store, it might live, it might die. I don't want to make that prediction because I don't want to be held to it, but I'm never going to install it on any of my platforms. Not until they at least address the security issues with it, or maybe, I don't know, they implement features that I like. But
it's like, normally, if someone brings out a competitive product, they try and make it competitive. They try and make it so that the fans, the end users, are going to want to play it. They're not really doing that. They're just pandering to the big studios.
Yeah, and it just seems like
they aren't giving a reason for us to want to play it.
But the difference is between Epic and Steam, of course, is the huge library. But developers still make money on titles that have been out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years on Steam, because it comes around in the annual sale, and somebody later down the line, maybe, you know, the kind of person that doesn't have money to buy a full price title, will buy it in the sale. The developer's still getting the cut, even if it's a reduced cut. That's still a life cycle where a customer is buying a game later down the line and they're still making a bit of money.
Yeah, or for example...
It's like guaranteed long-term income.
For example, something like Skyrim.
Yeah.
A lot of people bought Skyrim on the original consoles, on 360, on PlayStation. Yeah. Those consoles are now obsolete. But the game isn't. The game isn't obsolete. People then would rebuy it on Steam and buy it later on thinking, oh, it's nostalgic, and it's on sale.
Well, look at this as well.
They're getting more continual sales. Things like Stardew Valley I've been playing on the Switch is also available on the computer. When my Switch is dead, I might go, you know what, I really enjoyed that game. It's only a tenner. I'm going to buy it. Yeah. That's where Steam succeeds.
Yeah, it is. On the subject of Skyrim, like, if you look on Steam, there's at least like 3 or 4 versions. There's the standard edition, there was the limited edition, there's the Elder Scrolls collection, there's Skyrim VR, which I will probably buy at some point.
I know you, yes you will.
And I'll lose you to it.
Yep.
At some point I am going to do a whole thing on VR with my Vive.
What we'll have to do is we'll have to record us doing some bits on the Vive and put it on the YouTube channel. What
I'd like to do is pick up another one and we do a virtual podcast in the Vive. Be prepared for lots of strange poses. Anyway, so yeah, the main concern for me is Borderlands, because if that becomes an Epic Store exclusive, I love that series. I've got the collector's editions. I've got the fucking radio controlled claptrap, for crying out loud. I think it's a great series, and it's full of character and life. And it's like a run and gun, loot and Mad Max shooter, and there's just something amazing about playing Krieg the Psycho. And I'm sure all the fans out there will agree, he really does have the shiniest meat bicycle. But back onto the point with it, while we're talking about these online stores, and we're talking about Steam, Gabe Newell at Valve has recently become very vocal. So he's replying to emails at present. I believe it's Tyler from Valve News Network. He's been doing a few episodes about the internals of Valve, from employment reviews to how previous employees have found working at the place, to what Gabe does on a daily basis. And recently, he's been telling people how to speak with Valve, and Gabe is actually actively replying to almost all the emails people are sending right now. And this is giving a lot of the community positive PR to be received, and giving hope to everybody again.
Players want to be heard.
Yeah.
People want to think that they are important and that they are heard. And if your company is on lockdown on information, then they aren't being heard and they're going to lose interest. Well, if you're announcing that you're going to be joining the Epic Store 2 weeks before release, that's not keeping people informed, and that's them thinking that they are worthless to you. So of course they're going to walk.
Well, this is the thing about Valve compared to other companies. They do listen and love the communities that are growing around all of their games. Yeah, there may be a few more than they can handle sometimes. Look at the Counter-Strike community, the Dota community, the Half-Life community. God bless all of them. But they want to interact with them. They want to produce more titles. And there's been various leaks and things that have been going on. And I mean, the studio that made Left 4 Dead's making a new game at the moment based on that same concept. And we're all hyped for it. Maybe it is going to be Left 4 Dead 3. Maybe it's going to be a spiritual successor. We don't know yet. But the fact that there's rumblings around Valve, I mean, one of the writers for the Portal series has come back on a contract basis, so we could be seeing something exciting out of that. But the thing that the fact that Valve has become interactive with the community again, even if it's just by replying to emails, that says that they still care about their core user base and they still care about the industry that they work in.
And all it takes is them doing some basic interaction to massively have a boost in PR. The best form of advertisement is
word of mouth.
Word of mouth. By interacting and showing that you give a shit about your players, it makes them talk about you more.
Yep.
You don't have to actively be showing new information, but just interacting with people will make people talk about you more.
Yep.
And that is how you get the best advertisement.
It is. And it's kind of wholesome to hear all this news, because Gabe is sort of like the grandfather of PC gaming now. I mean, he revolutionised a lot of different aspects of the PC gaming platform, and it all ended up with the Half-Life series, the Steam platform, all the spin-offs within that same universe, giving us characters and environments and stories that we've all fallen in love with. And that is still the core of where Valve and Steam spawned from. Because originally, like, you needed Steam in order to play Half-Life 2 and a few other select titles. You got some freebies like Codename Gordon and Ricochet, and just brings back memories of logging onto Windows XP and dialing up on a 1 meg connection and playing Counter-Strike with your buddies on Vent. Like, they are the fond memories that I think of when I think of Steam gaming. And it'd be nice to see Valve and Steam sort of move back into that direction a little bit more. But sort of going back to bad PR in this, I wouldn't call it a shit sandwich, because it's sort of like shit bread, a nice creamy filling with something tasty, and then more shit bread.
And we'll probably talk about the things that we think people need to be doing better at the end as well.
Oh god, yeah.
The good ways to do PR.
There's the sprinkles of turd.
There's always going to be sprinklings of turd in everything we discuss.
Bungie are doing what they do best, and that's not making Halo games. Anthem. Fuck me, where do I start with this?
The biggest problem, we mentioned this briefly, Anthem is being advertised as if it is a new Halo. They have tried to get aesthetically similar to Halo. They have tried to basically use nothing of actual gameplay footage, purely teasers of armour and things that could be mistaken for Halo items, in order to make people think it's like Halo and play it, and then you look at the actual gameplay footage and it's nothing like what they're showing.
I like to call it the, like, I wouldn't say like maybe Barbara or Kate or, you know, some other kind of like soccer mom syndrome, where every console's, the Helen syndrome, where regardless of what console your child picks up, it's Nintendo. It's like, regardless of what Bungie game you pick up, it's Halo. It feels like that. But then when you open the box and you find a limp, severed finger inside there, smeared in shit and disappointment, you think to yourself, why did I spend $49.99 on this? The loot system's broken. Level 1 weapons are much higher, better, much more powerful than regular loot. There's been issues with the campaign itself, so you're forced into multiplayer. Something that Yahtzee says in one of his reviews, 0 punctuation if you don't listen to it.
So good.
Break your own legs, seriously. So yeah, he talks about how, like, when you set it to a single player mode, like before entering the game, was like, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you don't want to play with your friends? There must be something wrong if you want to play on your own. Maybe you should go into multiplayer. And then you sort of have to kindly go, fuck off.
Yeah, and the problem is, so many games are doing this, where even if you're not playing online, you have to have an online connection.
Ubisoft.
And they try and push you into playing online. Do you know what one of the most successful, well-loved games of the last year has been?
No.
Spider-Man. Do you want to know why?
Oh, because it's a well-written, well-rounded single-player game with Man-Spider.
Yeah, and you don't need to be online for it. There's no online content at all, other than if you want to download extra stuff. And people want that. People sit down, usually, and play games because they want to get lost in the world and the story, and they want to enjoy a good game. There's a time and a place for multiplayer games, but genuinely, they don't tend to have to be as complex. And there's such a big push at the minute to put all their money in the multiplayer stuff that games, even if they have a single player campaign, are just left by the wayside. And it's not good. People want good single player campaign games.
Yeah.
Multiplayer has a time and a place, but it's more expensive to do these full single player games that everyone's going to adore, so they can just shove out so much shitty with multiplayer and earn a lot more money.
Call of Duty.
It's disheartening.
It really is. But on the subject of multiplayer, I do just want to do a shameless plug. So, I'm not in any way endorsed by this, but me and my friends play this game quite a lot. It's really fucking fun, and it's really cheap.
I have been sat in the living room, typing things up, doing work for anything, like literally anything. I can be sat listening to music, and I can hear him barking through the wall. I have no idea what you do. So,
Ben and Ed Blood Party. Dear God, it's amazing. Right, imagine, like, zombie Olympics with chainsaws and spinning blades and all kinds of crazy shit. Seriously, it's so much fucking fun.
I remember when Ben and Ed first came out and a bunch of YouTubers were doing stuff for it.
Yeah.
It was absolutely hilarious. But even at the time, I thought it would be better with multiplayer.
Oh God, yeah. And we love it. It appeals to that, like, gritty 80s synthwave soundtrack of, well, metal and synth. And zombies that twerk and do the monkey. You can rip your own head off and throw it to reach checkpoints you otherwise couldn't get to. And it's just great. Just play it. Or watch a video on it. It's just a fucking good game. And I really hope it comes to consoles, because I feel like it would be a great game to play online on the Switch or the Xbox or the PlayStation. You know, it's just a good multiplayer game. It knows where multiplayer should be, because that's all it is. But Anthem, I honestly, when I first saw it, I was under the impression that this was going to be a single-player game with co-op aspects.
Yeah.
Like Halo,
exactly.
Where, you know, you and a buddy could get a pizza, you could play split-screen campaign, and it would be awesome. Master Chief, the Arbiter, stomping on some grunts.
Or you do something like old Halo, where you have two teams and you just duke it out for a bit.
Or Griffball.
Or Griffball.
I fucking love Griffball. I'm going to reinstall later. Anyway, so that's Anthem. Last thing I wanted to touch on with bad PR, your boy EA's at it again. You know what I'm talking about. Apex Legends, the Fortnite killer, the new meeting place for young, abusive online players.
You can tell he wanted to say some slurs there, but I told him out of it.
I got a slap on the wrist. No, seriously, it's a good game, don't get me wrong, fantastic. But, like, EA have done an epic, I would say. They've paid people to play it who are popular Twitch streamers, including the famous Ninja. Blue head guy. I don't really follow Fortnite or Twitch streaming that much. Apart from Captain Pointybeard, my boy, follow him because he's wholesome as fuck.
Follow James.
Yeah.
He was amazing. He was in our mental health episode if you want to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, for new people, go listen to that one first. It'll really tug on your heartstrings. But yeah, so they paid a shit ton of money. I think it was like $1 million to Ninja to play Apex Legends. Granted, this game is fucking good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've played it a fair bit. It is really, it's easy to pick up and play. Apart from, it feels like Titanfall without Titans, which is kind of weird, but...
So, let's clear something up. Streamers and influencers being given games for free and being, even maybe getting a little bit of money to review a game is fine, as long as they are allowed to give an honest review. Them throwing that much money at somebody, even if he is being honest about his preference for the game, it's never going to come off as genuine if you know that. Well, giving people loads of free money and loads of stuff in order to play your game, it makes them look like they are only saying it because you've given them the money.
Well, the thing that gave it away with Ninja is that when he was streaming the game, one of the tags he used was Apex Partner. So that to me just said, yeah, EA have given me a shit ton of money.
It would be different maybe if he'd been following it from the beginning and it was a Kickstarter game and he'd been pushing for it and really enjoying it and been a part of it in the development.
Yeah.
Just suddenly going, and I'm an Apex partner and here's a game and it's really good, it comes off disingenuous.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things I wanted to talk about in terms of good PR and advertising. Mm-hmm. Influencers are how people should be advertising. Mm-hmm. Getting proper gamers, Jacksepticeye, Ninja, James, Captain Pointybeard, getting people like that who are active and are looked up to is a good idea. You need to be careful who, because you obviously don't want to get maybe someone too controversial.
What are you on about? I'd totally, if I was making a game, I would totally let PewDiePie plug it.
I didn't say anything about PewDiePie.
No, but I think that we should. You should totally subscribe to him.
There are some people out there in the community who are genuinely not great people, and you maybe don't want them as the front of your campaign, but giving these people the game for free and saying, hey, review it for us, or giving them money, a small amount perhaps, might be alright, as long as they're allowed to say at the beginning of their thing that this is an honest review, that I have accepted money for this, so take that with a pinch of salt, because people need to be aware of what they're...
Or just paid sponsorship. All you have to say is, this is paid sponsorship.
Yeah.
It's like Dollar Shave Club and NordVPN, and I was actually joking about this the other day, slightly off topic, about using NordVPN and Dollar Shave Club and being like, oh yeah, I'm shilling these products, because of Adpocalypse and everything like that. And then sort of being like getting busted for piracy and then coming to that heart-wrenching conclusion that Dollar Shave Club does not protect your online privacy. And that you should have gone with the NordVPN because you'd have been like, Nord Shave Club? It was funny in my mind. But yeah.
Accidentally picking the wrong sponsor.
I would love it if we were sponsored.
It would be very nice. We're still small.
I have a pretty mouth.
Jesus Christ.
Thank God my parents don't listen to this.
Like I say, streamers and YouTubers and influencers in general are your friend if you are trying to market. They are the new TV. They are who people look up to. They're the new movie stars, the new TV stars. And the good thing about that is these tend to be self-made people. Mm. They tend to be people who've gone out and worked hard to get where they are. I know some people don't think playing video games is hard work, but they do a lot more than that. As someone who runs a podcast and does 90% of the work for it, it's harder than it looks.
Ooh. Ooh.
You wrote the script this time, I'm very proud.
Still burnt. It's alright, I bring the fuel to the podcast fire. Mm-hmm. I cook.
So do I made dinner. He brings me drinks with alcohol.
Yes.
Oh, but yeah, streamers are the main, especially if you're doing games, if you're advertising things about games, it's really important.
Yep.
Something terrible, though, that I've seen recently, and I may have sent you, the game address.
Oh. It's coming back, but please carry on.
So, this is a company who do a lot of clothing for esports people.
Oh, shit!
He's just remembered it. And they released a dress specifically for gamer girls, marketed it as a dress for girl gamers, and it was fine. It wouldn't have fit someone of my body shape anyway.
Could it be described as a creepy old man designing a cheerleader outfit?
A little bit. The skirt's too short. It's very, very thin material, very form-fitting. It's very sexualised. And some girls could pull it off and not look too sexualised, but in general, I think most body types it wouldn't work well with. I have quite broad shoulders. I can't wear something with a super high neckline. I need something with some sort of shape in this area, and it was just a box. It would have fit someone who was very, very slender, very, very petite sort of shape, and it would have been fine, but anybody else it wouldn't have fit. And then someone asked them, because they were advertising this for girl gamers, someone asked them, were any women involved in the making of this? And they went, no. No women have been involved in the designing of this dress. No women have been involved in the marketing of this dress. No women have been involved at any stage.
Didn't they then say something?
They have come out afterwards saying, yeah, we understand this was a bad move. This was stupid of us. This was dumb. And we need to do better, and we are looking at doing better. That is fantastic. Seeing where you have gone wrong and working to make things better is great.
If only more people did that.
But in the first place, that was especially admitting that no women had been involved in a product that you have designed for women. Like,
I mean, off the back of this, like, it does make you realise that the internet is a really powerful tool for these kind of things. Because if you go to like some sort of closed off, sheltered, shall we say, community board that go, oh, this is not right, you shouldn't be doing that because it's made out of people's eyelids. But if you put something on the internet and then be like, you're going to get people that are going to go, this is great. And then you're going to get people that go, this is like, you know, it's okay, but here's my opinion. And then you get some people that are just going to be like, I'd take a shit in that. Thanks, internet. But anyway, I just think that like we should have more community feedback on stuff.
And
I mean,
being
again,
willing to take community feedback is important. One of the things I was going to touch on as a better form of advertisement for people is being open and honest with your development. So there is a game that's been in development for a while now, made by a single man, Yandere Simulator. Now, this is a game about a young schoolgirl.
I remember this.
Yeah, in love with a young schoolboy and will literally do anything in her power to get him. And this has been in development for a while, and it's a guy who wasn't originally doing game development as a thing. It was a side project. It's now his full-time job. Mm-hmm. And he's doing it basically all on his own. He gets help here and there from extra people who are chipping in and volunteering and blah, blah, blah. But he has been open and honest. He does monthly updates as to the game progress. He's let people access beta versions of the game. He's admitted that once he hits a certain point, things are going to have to go quiet so that it doesn't ruin the game. But in this time, he's built up quite a hype. Now, there has been some negative press with him. I'm not going to lie. But the game has had quite a lot of interest. There's been quite a lot of stuff going on there. And it makes people remember it. When it comes out in the shop, even though I'm not actively following it much anymore, because I want to save myself for the actual end game, I will see that when it comes out. I will see it in the shop and I'll go, oh shit, I really want to play that. That looked fantastic. I remember watching it and following it. People want to know what's going on. Why else do you think people go to BlizzCon? They pay to go to a convention for one specific brand
and it's not,
that has 2 or 3 games.
And it's not to be insulted about having a mobile phone.
But people go there because they're excited to see development of their favourite games. They're excited to see what's coming next. They want to know. And you don't have to give them all the answers. But giving them bits and pieces here and there will get people interested and keep them interested. And most importantly, it will keep them talking. Mm-hmm. The most important thing for you to do is to keep people talking about your game.
I mean, this goes back again to Valve a little bit. Specifically Team Fortress 2. So if you need a prime example of where a community is given feedback and it's positively influenced a platform, Valve have got it covered. They would run open test servers, they would have private forums where people could give feedback and development, and that would be influenced in the final game. Blizzard do this to a certain extent, but not as much as they used to.
And it's such a good idea because people, again, want to feel listened to. They want to feel like they're important and they're involved. By listening to community feedback and acting on it, that is inherently good, positive advertisement for you.
But while we're on the subject of Team Fortress 2, still before it trails off, I wish I could have been in the PTR and development forums for when they brought out Jarate. So, for those who don't know, this is jar-based karate. And this is something specifically for the sniper. And there's no other way of putting this. It's a jar of piss that you throw at someone. And that's Jarate.
It's so bad.
And I wish I could have been there. I bet the community feedback was fucking stellar. A jar of piss to throw at your enemy? Let's fucking do this.
And that's the thing, people need to lean into what they're doing. Like, occasionally you'll get a developer who runs a serious game try and interact with a meme and it just falls flat. You're either going the whole 9 yards and being ridiculous and funny, or you're, a bit more strict and serious. You can't attempt to be humorous all the time and, we're fun too, and then it's just going to fall flat.
Yeah.
Lean in. If you're doing a horror game, lean into the spook. People have done viral campaigns before on Twitter and things advertising for stuff. I mean, bloody hell, when Undertale came out, no one knew what it was. It slowly built up through people like streamers picking it up. Then when
Deltarune, that's it.
I can only think of Nude Alerts because it's a rehashing of the name. It's the same.
Nude Alerts? Is this some kind of Undertale cult I don't know about?
That's
where
the thing. So
we've got skeleton dick pics?
Deltarune. No, that's called sinning. Deltarune is
okay, I don't want to know anymore.
The same letters as Undertale, just rearranged.
Mm-hmm.
It's an anagram. So is Noodle Alert. It's an anagram of the same letters. Anyway, Deltarune, when it came out, basically the announcement for the beginning chapter, the first chapter, was tweets going out from one of the characters from Gaster. And all it took was a half a dozen tweets and people were fucking going crazy. If you're running a horror film or a horror game and you can do something like that, that is hella better marketing.
Well, look at PT.
Mm-hmm.
PT is a benchmark, or it's become a benchmark, I believe, for horror games.
Mm-hmm. We're going to do a whole episode on horror games at some point.
We are. I fucking love horror games, and there's going to be many spooks to talk about. And at some point, we will do a playthrough of Resident Evil 7.
Fun?
It's fucking right good. But yeah, so yeah, PT, like that was nothing to do with Konami, or, well, they made it out, sorry, to be nothing to do with Konami or Kojima. Kojima-san, we love you. It was all sort of like this little tiny indie studio that they picked up, and it was like Studio 47 or something silly like that. And they made this spooky game with Norman Reedus in it, and oh shit, fucking stuff got real. And everyone was going mad, and then when it got pulled down, like the community started losing their shit, and then of course Kojima left to produce Kojima Productions, and now we're getting Death Stranding, and it's like, oh, just the fucking hype. Like, he proper messes with your head. There are entire subreddits, forums, websites, YouTube channels, radio shows, toilet paper brands devoted to finding out what the fuck is going on in that game.
Because once something starts, people pick it up and people will run with it.
And he's a fucking master at it.
But there's loads of people who have used YouTube and Twitter and things to make their own viral horror stories. It's not hard. The Sun Vanished is one I've been following for a while. It's fantastic. And it's huge. Loads of people have seen this and loads of people follow it actively. You have something like that as an advert for a game, people are going to be fucking hyped for your game.
Well, here's the thing. One that I particularly remember was when Metal Gear Rising. Now, a lot of people, it's a Marmite game. It feels arcadey. You can tell it's not had a lot of input from the main sort of developers. But the marketing for it, I really enjoyed. So, one of the pieces of marketing I saw was when I was in Liverpool in their sort of creative district. There was an entire side of a building painted by hand with Raiden, the main character, in his ninja cyborg suit, with the Metal Gear Rising logo on there and the launch date. And that was actually the first time I actually found out that it was going to, that was the confirmation of the date. And I thought it was powerful and effective, even though it was simply just a stencil on a wall almost. But the fact it took up 2 fucking stories.
And that's the thing, I think people should use graffiti artists and big things like that more. I mean, in England especially, we don't really do billboards. I know of one on my walk to and from school, and it's a bit shit, really. School? On my way to and from work, and it's a bit shit, really. The posters keep peeling off of it and falling onto the ground. It's not great. But stuff like that is so much better. We should have more, even if, obviously, people think that they can only get graffiti artists involved when it's a traditional graffiti style aesthetic to the game.
Mm-hmm.
But stuff like that, writers will do that. They will do a full two-story thing in a different style. There's a big one in Sheffield called Phlegm.
Mm-hmm.
I would not say his art is a traditional graffiti style, but he's been contracted by the local council and stuff to do art before. And his art style especially matches a horror theme really, really well. Doing something like that, going big, going for broke in terms of things like that, are way, way better than standard billboards and blah, blah, blah. They make people think, oh shit, what's that? And Google it.
Yep. And the last sort of game I've seen do that was Jet Set Radio. The whole thing about that was rollerblading, banging tunes and graffiti. It's a game that I absolutely love, and they did several different things, including a hand-done one-off Dreamcast console with that artwork on it. But there was various ad campaigns, billboards and stencils and things used to market, and it's just thinking outside the box a little bit. But there's lots of positive ways that like people can advertise stuff, and like even some of it is not even like advertisement, but it's just sort of like a friendly nod. So if you look at most infamous PC games, if you find a crowbar, you know there is an ode to Gordon Freeman in Half-Life, and you know that's not advertising as per se, but that's sort of like a bit of crossing the universe.
Yeah, and a cheeky nod to another game will make people think about it and want to play that game.
Exactly. If you look at Wolfenstein: The New Order, not New Order. It's I think it's Old Blood. I think it is. It's the prequel to New Order. Very first part of the game, you're playing as Blazkowicz, and your esteemed colleague are driving an old-fashioned motor car up to this complex. If you pan the camera down to the car keys in the ignition, you will see the rocket launcher from Quake 3 Arena on the keyring. And it's just little shit like that. Those little nuggets of, fuck, I remember that.
And people can do that in real life as well.
Yeah.
So, real life scavenger hunts are some of the best marketing campaigns.
I beg to differ. Resident Evil did one.
People don't like them, but my god, do they get attention.
They do, but the Resident Evil one went terrible. Because I think they used animal parts.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like, they did something where people were basically freaking the fuck out and the police got called.
But basically, so there is a TV show, kids cartoon, Dipper and Mabel. Oh god, I'm terrible at remembering names.
Gravity Falls.
Yes, Gravity Falls. And about a year and a half ago-ish, they had a real-life scavenger hunt go on.
I didn't even think that show was still going.
No, it's not anymore.
Oh.
It has ended now. But they had a real-life scavenger hunt and got fans involved, and my god, it went viral. It was fucking huge. And as long as you've got a decent prize at the end, and it's not like, the fucking Peter Molyneux brick breaking where they just get told bullshit at the end. It's a life-changing. It's like nothing.
Well done, you did a thing.
Give them something tangible at the end, like.
Yeah.
As long as you've got something good at the end of it for people will go crazy doing that stuff in real life.
Yep.
And people will work together. It's like the cicada stuff that goes on occasionally from Reddit. So...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, occasionally there is scrambled messages and scavenger hunts done on the internet by this mysterious group called Cicada. And they will basically put up on Reddit a bunch of clues and leave people off, and you will have to break ciphers and codes, and you have to know... People basically think it's a spy recruitment drive, because some of the stuff you have to solve and know is insane, and you have to travel the world to solve it.
I still don't think it's as impressive as the He Will Not Divide Us Shia LaBeouf saga, where people using star charts, aircraft flight paths, and various sort of means of identification were able to locate a fucking flag and then pull it down. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that deserve it.
But that's the thing. Having something like that goes viral.
Oh, yeah.
Very quickly. And stuff like that's great. Again, it's word of mouth. It's great advertisement.
And if people...
Interactivity is what people want.
It is. And if people want to find out more about what the two subjects we've just spoke about, look up the Internet Historian. We're in no way affiliated with him.
I feel like we say that for everything. It's very obviously we're not affiliated with any of these people.
Yeah, because we're just a couple of losers with a fucking microphone in a flat. But we love the internet and the community that have come from it. And there's a lot of people on YouTube who I watch daily, weekly, whenever their stuff comes out. And I just think, God, I would love to be like part of that kind of stuff. But the most that I can do from here is just say, I like these people, they make good content and they make me laugh. Because
hopefully one day someone will say the same thing about us.
Yeah. It'll probably be my mum face palming into a desk going, why the fuck is my son doing this? And my stepdad bawling his eyes out in the background going, what a fucking loser. But no, they love me really. I hope.
A bit depressing there. But yeah, the cicada and things like that, have a look at them. They're quite interesting. I can't sell them for shit, but they're quite interesting and they're great marketing.
They've been quiet for a while though now.
Yeah, I mean, Cicada's only done about 2 or 3 hunts ever in the past 10 years, so they're not very...
Whereas Shia LaBeouf's on it all the time, so join in on his hunts. They're much more fun.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many more things people could be doing. Interactivity is important. People want to see gameplay. People want to feel like they are part of the development and part of the thing. Stop pushing fans away. And
this is something that Nintendo are good at, and Gearbox were good at with Borderlands up until the recent incidents, but street booths... So, when I worked at Game Station, we had reps coming in. Now, this was hilarious. We'll take the Nintendo rep because this was just fucking gold. Imagine, a rep who knows fuck all about his product, standing in a shop with his gelled up hair, little clipboard, and what I can only describe as a cod piece with a chain-linked, metal flexi thing, like what you find on a boom arm, with a 3DS on the end of it, and a power pack on his hip. And he's like, do you want to play this? While it's strapped to his fucking crotch. That didn't last long. No, I'm not surprised. No one wants to play a Dick DS. No, the best bit was when he turned to us and went, try going to the toilet in this thing. But getting hands-on with content is great. I mean, we used to have promo copies of games before they came out, like demos, so they were curated correctly, and we had permission to put them on our console pods. So someone would come into the store and be like, oh, I want to pre-order Cox on Duty 9, Modern Welfare, please, while I save my pennies, because I'm also on welfare, please. And then we could go, after you've signed up your pre-order and paid that deposit, you do know I need to take money off you, you can play it on our pod in the corner. And then proceed to spend 9 hours down there playing the same level over and over again, while little Timmy, whose mum abandoned him in the store and we became his childminders for the next 6 hours while she went to Next, would sit there crying because he couldn't play on it, before we then returned the child to its proper owner and kicked the man out because it was closing time. Just your average day in retail. But anyway... hands-on experience like that. Those little demo booths, Nintendo did one not long back with the Switch. Borderlands did it with this awesome fucking Mad Max style trailer that you went inside, and you got to play it with either a controller or a keyboard and mouse, depending on whether you were a peasant or not. You got you've seen the t-shirt. Yeah. I've got a Borderlands 2 t-shirt. It's like a baseball jersey with Minion on the back and 0-1, like a proper team shirt. Stuff like that. As soon as I was holding that t-shirt, I was like, the maybe I'm going to pre-order this is to fucking shut up and take my money, because it was great. Yeah, and I mean, Kyle has 1,000,001 t-shirts. He's currently wearing a Ghost Recon t-shirt. He has all of them, all of the t-shirts. I got 2 t-shirts when I worked in pubs. One was a Carling one, which was just black and had the logo over the breast. And then one was a Captain Morgan's one, which was like a polo, and it was so garish. Yeah, but the thing is, I couldn't, go out in these t-shirts much anymore, because some of them are, coming to console fall 29, not 2019, but 2009. Yeah. People were just because one of them says ask me about Halo Reach. Yeah. And and people do. and normally they're asking, why does that t-shirt not fit you properly anymore? And it's well, duh, I got fat.
He started dating me and I started feeding him properly.
I'm losing it now, thank fuck. But no, it's just... those kinds of hands-on marketing and PR, personally, I think they work the best. like test driving a product before it's due to come out. Not only is it like building hype for the developer side of things, it's also more like an open beta test.
Yeah, it is. It gives them a lot of ideas to what's not working, what is, and they can get a few last minute fixes and changes out.
In a real world environment.
Which there's no downside. Stop being dicks. Gib. But with that, I think we should end it here because we've been going a little while anyway. We've run over the past couple of sessions, so it'd be nice to end one relatively on time.
Yeah, but I'm sure with editing, we'll be able to cut it down.
Not that much.
Just enough to get the burps out.
Just enough to get the burps out and hopefully some of the cats screaming.
Yeah. But no, it's, as always, it's a pleasure to record these and send them out to you guys.
Yeah. Next week...
It's our 10th episode.
The plan was to do an AMA, but I don't think we've got the following for it.
That feel when you're pretty unknown and you want to do an AMA? I thought we could cover sort of from where we started to where we are now, sort of what we think's working, and I don't know. We could just have a totally random episode where
a review one when we just chat bullshit.
Yeah, like we'll wing it. We'll do a scriptless episode and see how that works out. How about that?
It's not gonna go well.
It's really not, is it?
No.
It'll be a surprise.
Yay!
Our advice this week is don't eat things that have gone out of date because that'll be a bad surprise.
That's how you get salmonella.
Yep, or a day off work. Unless your absence policy says otherwise you're going to be stuck at that desk feeling like shit.
Yeah, it's fun. Anyway, though, ending on a slightly happier note. Again, like I said, we will be at Birmingham MCM next week. We will be walking around on our /2 t-shirts. Look for the girl with very faded blue hair with a bad root job.
And the boy who's dead inside. Seriously, I'm dead.
Anyway, if you're done derailing me.
I'm sorry, it's just fun. I want people to laugh when they listen to this. I want them to go, fuck me, I didn't realise that. And then the next sentence go, how the fuck does she put up with him? He's like a barrel of dynamite.
He's much more attractive than I am. I don't have much choice.
I am fucking beautiful.
Anyway, though, we'll see what comes out next week. We're going to be recording it tomorrow, so it goes up because we're actually going to be at the con when it's due to come out. And following the convention, we're going to do a review session on that. We're going to go over the sorts of things we've seen and done.
Yep.
So maybe an episode looking at our history on anime and manga and stuff might be a decent idea. Our geek culture background, because that's probably what's going to be mostly covered at the convention. Yeah.
I'll be covering a lot. I'm going to do a little part next week called Cringe Review, where I look for the cringiest things I can find at MCM. And then talk about them.
Fun. Fantastic. But yeah, thanks very much again, guys.
Thank you.
Hopefully you've enjoyed this shit show.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to sign up for Nord Shave Club or Dollar VPN, which we are in no way shilling, but thought it was funny. We're never going to get sponsored.
I hope we never say like and subscribe ever again.
It's fucking filth. I'm going to go take a shower.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.